Today we are going to be talking about exponents and scientific notation in our 8th grade Common Core class. Our first lesson will be on exponential notation. Your objective today is you will be able to represent repeated multiplication symbolically. You will also be able to know what it means for a symbol to be raised to a power. You should also know why some bases require parentheses. Let's review the things that you should have known in 6th grade. This is referred to as the base. The larger number is always going to be the base. This number is going to be referred to as the power. So in this case, we would say that x is raised to the nth power, where n is representing the exponent. Let's think about what exponential notation means. So in this case, we have 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. If we look at these, we can see that there are 6 5s, and the number that we multiplied each time is going to be the base, and the amount of times that we multiplied it is going to be 6. That gives us 5 as the base and 6 as the power, making this 5 to the 6th power. It may also be referred to as 5 caret 6 in some computer programs. So let's start looking at the exercises in your workbook. This first exercise says 4 times 4 times 4 are 7 times. So how are we going to write that? We're going to write it with a base of 4 and an exponent power of 7. In your second exercise, which you should be writing into your notebook, we have 3.6 multiplied a bunch of times, and the answer is 3.6 to the 47th power. So how many times do we multiply 3.6 by itself? We multiplied it 47 times. In exercise 3, which you should be writing into your notes, we have negative 11.63 34 times. So how would we write that? Our base would be negative 11.63, and it would be raised to the 34th power. You should notice that we have these parentheses on the outside of the number. When the number is negative, it's going to require these parentheses if the base is negative. In exercise 4, you see we have 12 multiplied however many times. Well, if we look over here, we see that it is multiplied 15 times because the power is 15. We would write that to be 15 in this space. We can tell that it's multiplied 15 times because the exponent is 15. In exercise 5, we have the negative here. You can see how it's negative in the parentheses each time, multiplied 10 times. So we're going to write that as negative 5 within the parentheses raised to the 18th power, which is wrong. That's going to be raised to the 10th power. Everybody makes mistakes, right? When that base is negative, we're going to use parentheses before you raise it to a power. I want you to pause the video and go ahead and complete exercise problems 6 through 10 on your own. And then you may work with a partner or check in when you get back to class to see if you got those answers correct. Now you can replay the video, and we're going to go ahead and go through exercise problems 11 through 14. This says, will these products be positive or negative? How do you know? Well, if I have negative 1 12 times, that's a negative 1 times a negative 1 times a negative 1. Well, I know that these two negative ones are going to make a positive 1. And the next set, because a negative times a negative is a positive, it's going to be another 1. And I'm going to have, if I do it for every 2, I'm going to have 6 sets of these that become positive. So these are all going to be positive numbers. So 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. It's still going to equal 1, but it's going to be a positive 1 because we've gone 12 times. And this one is a little bit different. We have a 13, so we're going to have a nice even set 6 times, and then we're going to have times another negative 1 hanging out here on the end. We would have 6 positive ones times 1 more negative 1, and that's going to leave us with a negative 1. Exponent was odd on a negative number. It caused the whole answer to become negative. Is it necessary to do all the calculations to determine the sign of the product? Why or why not? Well, we just talked about if I look at this and I see, oh, this is 95. 95 on a negative exponent base. 95 is an odd number, which means that the answer is going to be a negative number. If it was an even number, then it would be a positive number. So we're looking at this one. We have a power of 122. We have a negative 1.8 base. The base is negative, but it has an even amount of exponents. So the answer then is going to be positive. So let's fill in the blanks to indicate whether the number is negative or positive. If n is a positive even number, so the exponent is here is going to be positive, and it's also going to be an even number. So if it's a positive even number, then negative 55, oh that's right, positive means it's going to be positive. If it's a positive but an odd number, then this would make this negative base a negative number. So we're really looking at whether the exponent power here is odd or even to determine if the base within the parentheses is negative or positive if the original base inside the parentheses is negative. Josie says that negative 15 times itself 6 times is negative 15 to the 6th power without any parentheses. Is she correct, and how do you know? Well, let's talk about that. We all know that if we have negative 15 and we raise it to the 6th power, that would give us a negative or a positive answer. Well, it's an even power, so we know that it would give us a positive answer. And is her answer positive here? No, her answer is actually negative. So her answer is not correct because she left out the parentheses. Now that we're done, we are kind of thinking, what's next? That was a really short lesson. So what I'd like you to do is take a break and reflect on your learning. Go ahead and log on to Canvas if you're not already there and click on this lesson's discussion thread. It's called Summarize, Question, and Reflect. You're going to write in 2 or 3 sentences what we learned today. Then you are going to write an open-ended question, which means that it cannot be answered with a yes or no answer, about something that you learned today or something that you're wondering that might help you understand this topic better. Once you have finished, you are going to find 2 students' questions within Canvas, and you're going to write a response to their questions to maybe answer something that they have written. Then you're going to complete the homework. Your homework today is on page S4. You're going to complete your homework in the workbook, and I want to make sure that you're attempting all the problems. If you're attempting all the problems, that means you're drawing a picture if it's possible, you're writing down the rules or the formulas that you were taught during your lesson, and you should be highlighting or circling the important information in the word problem. Once you've completed your work, I would like you to take a picture of it and upload it into Canvas for grading. Remember, your assignment is due at midnight tonight. When you're finally done, you're going to take the exit slip, also referred to as a quiz. The exit slip is also going to be in Canvas. Once you click on it, you can take the quiz 2 times. If you haven't completed the quiz at 100% after the 2nd time, you need to reach out to me for help. You can find additional supports within Canvas, or you can email me at any time.